Hey all, Zook here, back with another boss guide for Dark Souls 2. This time we'll look at the Flexile Sentry. Boss has some quick moves and wide hitboxes, and it can definitely be a bit scary if you're like me and you try to no-hit bosses, so you prefer to roll instead of blocking attacks. But we'll take a look at the boss, figure out the move set, how to avoid some of the scary attacks, and talk about how to get this boss to behave in such a way that you can get rid of it quickly so that you don't have to worry about the arena and the rising water. Getting stats out of the way first, boss is going to be weak to lightning attacks and also takes more damage from strike weapons. He'll be resistant to fire damage. So as far as buffs to use, I would recommend a gold pine resin first and foremost. Now, you might also consider using a rotten pine resin if you bought one from Gavlin or picked some up in the gutter, just to apply a secondary poison source. And you could even also consider using a bright bug if you really want to speed this fight up. But in your inventory, I would just have normal healing items and then also have some poison dealing consumable, preferably the dung pies that you can pick up on your way through the gutter. Now, you also might just decide to buy poison knives from Gavlin, which are a perfect alternative. What I wouldn't recommend is using poison arrows, because all three of those methods, the two consumables and poison arrows, all three count as projectiles, and projectiles will force the sentry's AI to recalibrate and turn the sword side towards you. Now, the thing is, consumables are able to be used quickly enough that the sentry doesn't necessarily recalibrate, but arrows are so slow that the sentry is guaranteed to recalibrate, and you have to face at least some of the scarier sword attacks if you use the arrows. So keeping that in mind, for weapons, I just have the rapier. I'm not going to try to use projectiles at all if I can help it. If you have a strike weapon, remember what I said before, you might want to use a club or a mace or anything. I would recommend leveled up to +4 just to get that extra damage, but strike weapons are also fine. For my rings, I have damage boosters with Ring of Blades and the old Leo ring, specifically to kind of get this thrust weapon up on pace with a strike weapon that you could have used as an alternative. I also have Chloranthy, that'll boost my stamina. And importantly, fourth ring is the stone ring. Flexile Sentry is able to stagger a lot more so than other bosses. So while you're stacking up hits, you're also reducing the poise. And if you happen to break poise while the sentry has low health, it might just be the difference between you being able to finish up the fight quick or having to continue fighting while your movement's being impaired by the rising water. So with that, let's go ahead and check out the move set for each side of the sentry, and then we'll go through 2 example videos where I focus on fighting either side. Alrighty, So let's go ahead and look at an example fight. This is going to be the melee strategy, so it's going to be fighting against the maces or the clubs, and if possible, fight against the maces just because they have much safer attacks to dodge and longer punish windows after the final hit in each combo. Plus, it's a little bit more predictable. So as I begin the fight, I run in a few steps to get close, so within range of throwing this dung pie, and I'm going to throw one dung pie. I'm going to roll to the right because ideally the sentry should be doing a jumping attack. If you don't see the sentry doing a jumping attack, wait until it's hit you, or well, come up to you before you actually roll. But you're going to roll to the right, and as soon as the sentry does its first attack, throw 2 more dung pies to inflict toxic, which will do about 40% of the damage over the course of the fight. Once poison is ticking, just going to patiently try and bait out some punishable attacks. Again, try to keep on the mace side if it's possible. I was actually a bit lucky in this fight that when he does this club slam combo, and he does 2 of them throughout the fight, neither has the 3rd stab attack tacked on. Now, what I'm going to do is approach the boss slowly because I specifically want to bait out that 3rd attack, which doesn't come. But I want to bait it out because that gives me the time to punish twice safely, as opposed to what you saw there where I punished twice and he's already started up that next attack. But really, very simple fight. All that you do is just wait until he's finished up combo, wait until you have a safe opportunity to punish, and then just be prepared to roll whatever club attack you end up seeing. So one last tip for the fight. The mast in the center of the room can be used to your advantage if you find yourself overwhelmed or needing a second to heal. Just place the mast between you and the sentry. Now, don't stand right next to the mast because it can hit through the mast, but if you've placed it between you and the sentry, the pathing AI should give you enough time while the sentry tries to figure out where it's going, should give you enough time to heal. So, with the first fight over, take a look at how to ideally handle the sword side and what the fight looks like for a magic user. While this clip isn't perfect since the sentry only does one type of sword attack, I'm still using it because it shows 3 things. First, how to handle the sentry not jumping to start. Second, how to easily strafe the very common sword dance attack. And third, how to transition back to the club side of the sentry. Now, I didn't use dung pies at the start. This was on purpose. It's because I wanted to show more than one move set for the swords, but that didn't end up happening. But as we begin, sentry will sprint up to me, so I wait until it shows what attack it's using. Then I'm going to roll to avoid that attack. Works the exact same if you're throwing dung pies. You should be able to throw the dung pies, and then as it sprints up to you, expect it to do a sword dance. Now, I'll sprint and rotate counterclockwise to avoid the boss, and I'm going to position myself so that I'm directly in front of the mace side, because if I were doing this on melee, I would be wanting to transition over to the mace side, which means that I would want to be directly within the eyesight, just as I am right here. But rest of the fight's going to be very straightforward. Really, only thing to mention is that if you insist on fighting the sword side, just expect that if the sentry hasn't started sprinting up to you, expect it to do the jumping slash, which means that you want to leave yourself a little bit of space behind you, so don't get pushed up against the wall. But since I ran out of spells, you see an example of how to dodge that 3rd stabbing attack in the club slam combo. But overall, fight's not terribly bad. Just stick to the maces. You should have plenty of punish opportunities as long as you patiently bait out attacks. So, I hope you learned something from the video. I'll catch you in the next one.